Putin, this is Trump. Listen, I can't hear too well. Do you suppose you could turn the music down just a little?
You know how we've always talked about the possibility of something going wrong with the bomb.
What do you think Putin is going to do? And what do you think he should do from here on out? I know it's a big question, but Putin's kind of a little bit unpredictable in one way, but then predictable in others. So do you guys have any opinions on what you think Putin's going to actually do from here on out? What the consequences are going to be for these actions?
But there's so much pressure and societal pressure on Putin right now from his own people. And I think that's what Trump understands when, there's a lot of pushback right now where people are saying, you're on the phone with this guy and you're not telling him not to retaliate. And that's what people are getting mad at Trump about. But it's at the same time, I'm like, I think Trump understands who he's talking to, and he's showing a certain amount of respect for Putin because he understands that Putin is under this insane weight of pressure. And it's not that it's not his fault, but at the same time, it's like, that's the reality of it. And that's who we're dealing with here. When you talk about Putin, you're talking about a leader who is authoritarian, and you can't question the state, and Putin has kind of changed that narrative a little bit. He's kind of followed up on it, but there's a lot of Russians that still think along those lines, that still are nostalgic about communist Russia. And so I think Trump is thinking about all of that while he's on the phone with him. And I think that's why he didn't push back more. I think that's why he said, next topic.
There's two reasons why Russia is in Ukraine, in my opinion, why Russia is in Ukraine, not why the West is in Ukraine. And that is one, they want a warm water port, which they claim, used to be theirs. But of course, the whole region used to be theirs at one point during the Soviet Union. And then the other one is NATO expansion, which we talked about before, that like NATO keeps expanding and Ukraine's like, okay, we're going to be part of NATO because we're worried about Russia. And Russia's like, well, we don't want NATO bases on our border, the same way that we wouldn't want Russian bases in Canada. So
I'd say maybe Russia underestimated what U.S. intelligence and technology and Western technology could do proxied through Ukraine. I think that's more.
Maybe that's a good way to put it.
I'd say that's the way I would put it. Because without U.S. intelligence, without technology, without all this, literally Ukraine is nothing like that. I mean, it's as far as a military might or being able to stand on their own feet or whatever that might be. So I think that, that could be the case that they underestimated that. And so.
Right. And that's what he said. He said they underestimated. You're talking about the Finnish president. He said they underestimated the strength of Ukraine, but then he followed that up with and the resolve of the West to help Ukraine.
Which really means the resolve of the West manifesting through Ukraine. That's really what that means.
That's really where the strength is.
The will of the West.
I do think that's a fair statement because I don't think anybody would have imagined that Putin thought that this war was still going to be dragging on at this point.
And to follow up on what I said earlier, I think at this point, there's no getting out of it as far as Putin is concerned, because he has to save face. Like that is the way their society's built up. That's the way the culture, that's the way his authoritarian government's 100%. Built up. He is just going to steamroll ahead no matter what. And he has to be able to keep that facade up. If you're enjoying this episode, you can get access to the full-length exclusive conversation by becoming a member on youtube.com or locals.com. The links will be below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and come back.